Hello everybody! So over the months we all have been debating and theorizing about how the world of G4 fell and became into the world we know as G5. We all had our ideas and honestly are much better than whatever the comics told us, but oh well. And recently I had this thought about something that no one seems to be talking about. That is, what if G5 takes place in the future of an alternate universe of G4? A universe that was caused by a time traveler, like what happened with Starlight Glimmer when she tried to stop the destinies of the main six and created multiple parallel universes. So yeah, kinda a strange theory, I know, and I don't really believe it myself either, as something the writers would think of. It's just an idea I came up with that I do think could work for the MLP universe. But I know this theory could fall apart in a few different ways. Also, this theory is mainly based around the comics, and I was thinking about how the explanation of how Equestria fell makes more sense and make most people satisfied, cause the comics really didn't explain it well for the fans. So yeah, just a reminder that this theory is based around the comics, which can be announced on canon anytime. And I'm also not the best in explaining theories, and I might miss a few important things. So I just made this video to hopefully inspire someone else to hopefully make a better explanation and theory about this idea of mine. Anyways, let's start the theory. So one of the main reasons I thought about this idea is I have been thinking and noticing that every alternate universe Starlight caused always had Equestria fall, kinda like G5 did. And then I have thought about what if the world of G5 is in the far future from an alternate universe. Can you see what I mean? Again, this is only an idea I thought about, so I'm not going too deep into it. So now the next question is, from what parallel universe is G5 from? It's definitely none of the ones caused by Starlight, cause it wouldn't work either way. Cause it's pretty much established that G5 does take place after the entire story of G5 from all what happened. Like mainly the main six being together. While Starlight tried to stop the main six from being together, which changed the entire story of their universes. And we know by the comics it all started to fall in the similar timeline of the last episode. So now the next question is, from who else besides Starlight could have caused this alternate universe of G5? And we might have a good idea from who it might be. The evil alicorn and main villain of the show, known as Opaline. Or Queen Opaline, but I don't really know. When I thought about her, it kinda starts to make a little bit more sense. But first we have to know where she comes from, since we literally don't know anything about her. So far we know she is an alicorn and was there since the days of G4. So now we have to talk about how did she become an alicorn. Like we all know, you can achieve of becoming an alicorn by creating a new kind of magic, which then you will be turned by whoever main ruling alicorn at the time is. Like Celestia or Twilight, which we could think she might be an apprentice of Twilight or something like that. The only strange thing here is, in the comics nobody seems to know who she is, which makes me think she might time traveled in the time before she became an alicorn or even became Twilight's apprentice. Or maybe she was born as an alicorn or turned into one with lots of magic, and she happens to be some alicorn that nobody knows. There still are questions like from what and how, but I won't cover that in this video. One other thing I noticed is also in the comics we don't see anything about Lostodon or the Young Six, which honestly I don't really know how important this could be, but I could make up a reason why. Maybe, like Starlight did with stopping the destiny of the main six, she maybe was defeated by either one of those characters but time traveled so that she could stop either one of their destinies, or just time traveled at the time they won't be able to stop her with her plans. So next to talk about is, how did she time traveled? Well, we know that the spell used by Starlight was lost in time, but doesn't mean you can't time travel anymore. There are different ways of time traveling, or at least was referenced a lot. Like what Twilight did, or Doctor Who's referencing time travel once. And Starlight, who joked about time travel a few times. But that might be just a joke, then her implying she can somehow time travel still. So as you see, time traveling is still in a way possible. And the spell Starlight used could still be somewhere around, but we don't really know. Time traveling itself is a pretty complicated topic and also a very dangerous kind of magic that should be forbidden. So maybe Opaline has found something about it when studying. Now the last question is, what really is Opaline's big plan here? So far, I don't really have a good idea of what. Like, I guess it seems from what she said, she might want to rule entire Equestria with power or disharmony or something like that. Having her own idea of how Equestria should be. That's what I can so far think of for now until we see the show. Anyways, let me make my own simple idea of how the story could be how Equestria fell. In a time far from the days of the last problem of Friendship is Magic, Opaline, apprentice of Twilight Sparkle, has created a new kind of magic and has become an alicorn. But over time, she grew greedy for power, having her own idea of what her Equestria should be. So like Nightmare Moon, she turned evil and starts her plan on terrorizing Equestria to rule, until one of Twilight's top students, Lusterdon, tries to stop her. And after a long battle, Opaline is defeated, and Equestria is saved once again. After Opaline's defeat, Lusterdon's victory was celebrated, with having a new stained glass window in the hallway as a reminder of that day. All seems good again, but Opaline doesn't give up that easily and thinks about a new plan of revenge. She was thinking and studying for days until she has found out about a very dangerous and forbidden kind of magic. Time traveling. Maybe even the exact same spell paper Starlight used. And with the spell almost ripped off, it might still work for one last time. Opaline is aware there's no going back after that. And so, she goes far back before her defeat against Lusterdon, before her transformation of becoming an alicorn, before she even became an apprentice of Twilight. Maybe even far back before Lusterdon learned more about friendship. Back in the days before the last problem. Opaline has landed in a almost unfamiliar place. And so she continues with her plans, but this time more strategic. Hiding in the shadows, going from place to place, making every pony against each other, without any pony knowing or recognizing who she really is. She wants to create as much chaos and disharmony as possible to make her takeover easier. But then, the main six have decided to create the Unity Crystals, who are there to keep all magic freely as long every pony lived in harmony, which wasn't part of Opaline's plans. And when the crystals eventually got separated, Opaline has failed her goal once again. She may divided all three races, but without any magic she can't continue with her plans, nor can she time travel back to redo it all again. So, after the pony races got divided with their Unity Crystals, Opaline cannot get the crystals back together again. Due to their distrust and unacceptance towards other species, Opaline knows she can't get into either of their tribes to find the crystals with her outstanding appearance. But she doesn't have to worry. Somewhere around the time after the crystal's creation, she has heard of a prophecy made by someone for now unknown, that someday far in the future, a group of ponies will be destined to bring back magic again. So, Opaline is waiting and waiting patiently for many years, until finally, magic has returned again. This is so far what I can think of about that idea. Like I said, I personally don't think this theory could happen, cause I know there are many ways this theory could fall apart. This idea is mainly based around the comics, and I also used some things from Tell Your Tale, which, at least for the comics, can be announced uncanon anytime. It's just my idea of how I think would have made sense, and a choice that could work for the story and world building between G4 and G5. There might be some other things that I missed, but maybe someone else could do a better job on this idea. And lastly, what do y'all think? I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts about this theory of mine, and maybe you can tell me some of your theories as well. Anyways, that's it for the video and see y'all next time. Auf Wiedersehen.